All right, everyone, it's Dokkan time again. Welcome to the podcast. I am Joe Sayan, your host, and I have another special guest today, the Water Buffalo Man.
What is up, boyos? It's Water Buffalo, man. I had to do my little intro in there, buddy.
You got to do the intro. You have to.
I gotta throw that boyos in there. I think I'm one of the only ones that's ever said boyos.
I don't think I've heard anyone actually say boyos before. I don't
Well,
know if it's like just an area thing, but
no, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say it either. It's just what I used to call my cat, and
oh,
I looked it up. Boyo means mate or pal, so I just
okay.
thought it'd fit.
Well, let's consider everyone pals, not mates, depending on which way you want to take mates.
That is true. That is true.
I sometimes feel that a little weird about when I say dudes. Because like for me and everyone around me, dude is just a straight up, okay, everyone's a dude. I don't care what
Mhm.
you are. You're a boy, girl, toaster, whatever. You're a dude.
Yeah.
But not everyone feels that way. Anyways, that's a completely off topic thing. Today's topic of the podcast actually is going to be specifically about the global sync up. The content we're getting for both global and JP specifically. I wanted to kind of touch. I hate using this terminology. I wanted to touch base on it and kind of get it thrown out into the wild because the worldwide download celebration is over. It's virtually over. We're gonna get Rose in the next couple days, or probably tonight or tomorrow. And then after that, it's kind of up in the air what's gonna happen.
Honestly, we still don't even know if we're getting Rose yet. With the fact that they announced it yesterday on JP, didn't they announce for the EZA Int one, the Transformer one? Didn't we get both announcements at the same time on Twitter?
No, we didn't get them at the same time. It was spaced out a little bit.
So, I
But the
can't
thing
remember.
is,
I was
we already
working.
have the Rose in the data download files. Global was the reason that got leaked.
Yeah, untranslated though, right?
It was untranslated, but that's how Global does it. They put in the
Oh.
untranslated files and then they translate it after a data download. That's how it
Hmm.
goes. Um, but Rose is still a part of the worldwide download celebration, or he supposedly is. He
Could
shouldn't.
be.
I mean, it's still going on. Um,
We have to what, the third?
we have till the 4th, at least
Fourth.
PDT time, anyways.
Yeah, it's the same for both. It'll just be like maybe the fifth for me at like 2 a.m. But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, JP also just got an announcement for their next Dokkan Fest, which is Tournament of Power Android 17 and 18, which has
Which is
absolutely nothing to do with LR Rose.
no, not at all.
So
We should get ours tonight.
yeah, exactly. We should be getting we should either get an announcement tonight. It'll just pop up on reset, perhaps. But yeah, if they just randomly just kind of screw global, I'll be surprised. I really will. But
How question, how would you feel if all of a sudden they just announced Tournament of Power 17 and 18 for global as well?
I'd be fine
I
with
don't
it.
see anybody talking about that. I see everybody talking about all the other options, which you're probably about to bring up, but what would you feel if they just went 17, 18?
So
Synced right now.
so I've actually said this before. I potentially on another podcast or just in streams, but my preferred way of syncing up the game was that they just start right away on releasing the brand new units from JP onto global as well. And at the same time, they would also release missing Dokkan Fest units into the banner on global. The only big kind of L for global would be that we couldn't get those new units with the coins, but obviously JP could because they had already been there.
Oh yeah, I think you and I talked about this a little bit one night. We were talking about how they could do that, but it would kind of screw the player base a little bit in extent of you wouldn't be able to get them first time when they'd be side banner units. The
Right,
only
exactly.
issue that I saw with that, I think you agreed with it too, was the LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku. How could they fit him in anywhere?
So the yeah, it would really depend on what they want to throw out because so October and November are usually just kind of and I hate to say it, they're straight up filler times slots.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they are. Um, Path to Power Kid Goku was kind of a filler unit. He was a very under hyped unit when he came out on JP. In fact, I remember Truth and several other Dokkan tubers talking about this, saying that they couldn't even get top grossing rewards for him.
Well,
It
you got to look at the time and place too. That's right after everybody just trashed all their stones into the worldwide downloads. I mean,
Exactly, and that's why I say that it's still filler. Technically, I imagine that this 17 and 18 Tournament of Power is going to be very, very good, but I don't know if they'll be Path to Power Kid Goku level. But as far as Super Saiyan 4 Goku, I really feel that, once again, the same thing I said, it would just be best that they release him along with whatever they're planning to release for JP in December as well. It would just make it a little weird because Global would have a slightly different banner.
yeah, unless I mean, because I was thinking they could put him on whatever they do for the New Year's celebration, which they did the superhero last year.
Right.
But then that might overload the banner to the point of there's too much going on it.
Fair
Because
enough.
there can be such a thing as too much on a banner. I'm sorry, but there can be. There's
Um,
too much you want.
I don't know. I've always gone. It's hard to say. Really, I mean, that kind of perspective. It's really based on what you have and don't have. If you're brand new, if you're
Yeah,
veteran player. Obviously, we've been playing for a while. I have the majority of the units in the game as of right now, at least on global.
yeah.
And
2,800 days plus logged in. Yeah, been playing for a little
oh,
bit.
wow, 2,800. So you're actually ahead of me on days.
Yep, I started year one, so yeah.
I started year one. I didn't really stick to it because when I started Dokkan, I was super skeptical because
Mhm.
at the time I was super against DLC. I was super against mobile app games. I still am, in all honesty. If
Gotta
I'm gonna
definitely get through.
yeah, if I can be real for a minute, I'm only playing Dokkan still because at this point it's an investment.
Yeah,
It's a straight up investment with how much money I put into it, and if I dropped it, I'm just throwing away all the money that I already threw at it. So,
I
um,
pose a question then.
what's that?
Not about the money you put in or nothing. Timeline going from here to the sync or here during the sync. How do you think they'll handle heroes? The October banner we get every year, which is the Halloween special they do. I think last year it was the Spooktacular Dokkan Festival, and it had like a bunch of high end units that were relatively new, and there were ticket packs. There was like buy three get one free, and then that was it. How do you think they're going to handle that leading into the Trunks, the Turles, the Goku, and the soon-to-be merger? Because either they need to merge and sync soon, or once the anniversary comes out, we're going to have the same issue we just had, which we got the GT Duo Z Duo, and then the two new units, the Gohan and Trunks, and the Vegito and Zamasu, and it's going to push the new units we just got right out of the spotlight again,
Well,
as in the 8th year anniversaries.
that's it. That's inevitable. That's inevitable. Super Trunks is good, but he's already kind of pushed out in general. I mean, we've had this happen before. This has happened before. It's
Oh
not
yeah,
the first time. I
no, it's
mean,
going to continue to happen until they sync it.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, units getting overshadowed and kind of a worthless kind of pop in. I mean, it's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. Uh, Golden Frieza was a very big exception to that because he's just that good. But he had the greatest potential to just be an absolute waste of time if they didn't make him so good because he didn't release on global for 7+ months.
Yeah, they
Um,
waited out on us.
yeah, they did. But in the case of like the EZA for the Metal Cooler Army, that unit was garbage. It's a waste of a unit now. There's no reason
Yeah.
to have it other than literal free to play randomness. That's about it. Um, but that does so. There's a whole bunch of different ways they can sync up the game, and judging by the fact that JP is not they're just moving forward, I think the rest of the year is gonna be the same as it was last year. So we're gonna have we're gonna have our Tanabata in December. So we'll have Tanabata. We'll get the 8th anniversary units to come back. Heroes is gonna be back in November. And everything will be normal for global. And for the sync is going to happen with all at once in the 9th anniversary. I think that's how they want to do it. They want to.
That's what I was just about to say. I was like, if you're thinking the rest of this year is going to be per usual or whatever the term would be, you think January 1st of 24 in leading into the 9th anniversary is when the big changes are going to happen.
I think the big changes are definitely going to happen, yeah, in about January, February. But this also leads. I was losing the thought randomly for a second there. I haven't had enough caffeine today. But I had the other thought that we're everyone's gonna be mad. We potentially didn't understand what they meant about syncing. This has been in the back of my head for a minute, and it's been in the back of my head since they announced it on live stream. What if they didn't mean they were actually going to sync the games up? What if they meant the only thing that was going to stay synced up was all of the mandatory big events, and then maybe a couple extras, and there would just be a much smaller amount of in-between kind of banners, like this 17 and 18 now.
Yeah, so that would mean
That would
like
mean
right now
that January is not January, but end of January going into February is guaranteed going to be anniversary time for both versions. And then we have Saiyan Day that we have together, and then they're gonna force Tanabata together. Then we'll have Worldwide together, and then we'll have Heroes, and then New Year's together.
Golden Week 2, right?
Golden Week 2, yes, Golden Week 2. I missed Golden Week, my bad. But every single one of those celebrations is peered off about what, a month or two at most between each other.
Ooh, Goku, Gohan, and Goten Day. I could see them pairing together too for something.
Well, yeah. I didn't they just isn't the Goku Day thing kind of like intertwined in between like Saiyan Day?
I think so, but I think it's just far enough apart, but also close enough so that they could do something together. When did
Right.
we get what was God Goku for this year?
Saiyan Day.
Same day. Okay. Yeah, so they might just keep those two together and just drop like those Book of Wars they do every year and just add more units to it.
Exactly. But yeah, my thought process is that they didn't mean an actual sync. I think what they meant is that now all of the big celebrations will officially be forced together, and everything in between is just whatever.
Pretty much filler.
Exactly. And I really people can be mad if it's true, and I'm sorry if I called it out on this podcast right now, but that's what it's leaning towards right now, because they haven't said anything. They've said nothing since they announced that. They have said nothing. They didn't want to clarify anything. They just said, "Yep, we're gonna put all of the big celebrations, and the global and JP is gonna sync up," because they did say specifically celebrations.
Yep. Do you think that's going to kill the
hype?
No, well, not the hype. I'm not even like the sync hype. I'm talking like the side banner units then, in essence, like the filler units. Do you think that's going to kill everybody's interest in summoning for units like, for example, Trunks, Turles, knowing that, okay, doesn't matter, they'll be back at some point in time, only go for the main banner units like the Tanabata, the Golden Week, Saiyan Day, things like that, the anniversaries worldwide? Because then there's really no point in summoning in between if you know, okay, 6 months down the line, this guy's going to be back on Saiyan Day.
Well, let's dial back from this year and last year. I mean, Path Power Kid Goku, fantastic bloody unit, amazing bloody unit, has not been back on any of the celebrations. He only came back with Kale, which was another filler unit.
Mm-hmm.
Kale is very good. I'm sorry. I don't like Kale. I hate Kale. In fact, I hate the freaking Universe 6 Saiyans. They annoy me, personally. I mean, I love Dragon Ball in general, but I'm not a fan of Universe 6. They're just so annoying. But the point is, Kale, Super Saiyan 2, she's a fantastic unit. She's a great unit. She can overshadow quite a few of the quote-unquote big freaking units that have come out during big celebrations very easily. Shoot, what was everyone doing when Kale came out? Oh, no, Fizz God Goku is better. No, Kale is better. It just depends on your team or rotation, whatever.
Exactly what you have.
But yeah, this is my point. Regardless of the unit not being a part of a major celebration, it doesn't mean that they're just trash and they're going to be thrown away. They're still going to be good units, like Path to Power Kid Goku and like Kale.
Valid point. My my that's my biggest worry though is I agree with your sentiment on that now actually because now that I'm thinking about it, they only said celebrations will be synced. I think they said version celebrations, but I don't think they specifically meant like you said the exact games are going to be equal point for point going forward.
Yeah, I don't
But my
have the
biggest
video
worry,
pulled up, but yeah, when they were on stream, the subtitle text specifically said celebrations. It didn't.
my biggest worry is them killing the smaller banners
I
because
don't think they're
we
gonna kill them.
struggle. No, no, I don't mean kill them as in like remove them. I mean kill them in the sense of we struggle enough, especially on global, knowing having the foresight of okay, this unit's coming out. Like I know right now, Turles, if he drops tomorrow or tonight, we're not going to get top grossing with him, no question. He's not
No,
going to.
no.
Trunks, same thing, not going to happen.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't know.
JP,
Celtic could literally pull out a bank loan.
yeah, he could, but he might be the only reason we do get it.
Fair enough.
I don't think there's any unit going forward that ever 17 and 18 they're not going to get it. They might get it on JP, but they won't get it on global when it comes because we'll see what the unit can look like and what it can do, and we're going to be like, okay, that's not worth it. So that's going to kill any opportunity of getting top grossing, which I mean really doesn't benefit anybody but the game itself for the smaller banners. And it's only going to make the high end celebrations only value for the game, which also makes me worry that if they do sync them up, that only they're going to put the max effort into the high end celebrations, and these middle to lower celebrations are in essence going to be like a Naruto filler episode. Nobody cares to watch it, but you just leave it playing in the background.
Um. Well, I mean, uh, let me give you. Let me spit some facts at you real quick. So, Dokkan has released the amount of money they made so far in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot
I
of
saw that.
yeah, it's a lot of bloody money. And the only game that beat them out on money is literal waifus. Freaking
Yeah,
not Genshin Impact. What was it?
Star Rail.
Star Rail, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's a literal waifu husbando freaking simulator. I mean, that's what people summon on that for.
yeah.
So the fact of the matter that this game generates that much income, I
Was
mean,
that JP though, or was that worldwide?
I think that was their total like actual like income from both games. I want
Well,
to say it's from
realistically,
both.
then we had so far this year alone, we've had two anniversaries, two worldwide downloads technically because there's two separate worldwides, two separate Saiyan days, two separate Golden Weeks.
Right.
So that tells you they've had at least 8 different celebrations worth of sales stones they could have gotten, plus what people like Truth and Tiger and
But that's the
whoever
thing.
else goes
If
big
you
and buys
sync
stones.
up the hype all at once,
Mhm.
theoretically you're still going to get the same amount of money, if not more technically.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a
Those
hype
celebrations are
train.
gonna be massive.
But
Yeah.
like a hype train is real. It's just going to everyone's going to get on board. That's how it goes. Um I feel like that's not going to matter at all. I don't think there being quote unquote two separate anniversaries is going to be a big deal. I don't think them putting it into one spot is going to be too big of a deal. Other than the fact that technically the anniversary is right after the New Year celebration. And if I had the global foresight to check between going for the 8th anniversary units and the Beast Gohan and freaking Orange Piccolo, I'm gonna be real. I would have put more stonks into the New Year units personally. I really would have.
Yeah, I mean, really, Piccolo is still easily one, if not top three in the game at this moment.
I was gonna
There's
say
not.
he's still a big unit that everyone argues with, like
Mhm.
excessively.
There's
Um,
one unit that they overly, like, kind of built way too good, and she kind of fits almost every team now with the new leader skill, which that's another key factor. The new leader skill setup they have with the leading 3 categories plus 2 additional bonuses, then all super types. I'm talking about the Bulma specifically, but that unit there is one of those. outliers that I don't think we're going to see another unit like that
No, I don't
ever.
think they meant to make her that good. I don't think they
And
meant to.
something like that would be the only thing that could honestly pull the level of, what do I want to say, summons or revenue for the game that could compete with a lesser celebration. Like when she came out, I remember everybody went nuts because of how good she was. I
Yeah,
didn't think, to be honest, I was a skeptic at first. I didn't think she was going to be that great because I was looking at her attack stats. I'm like, she's not going to hit that hard.
right.
I didn't realize how good her defense actually was going to be. And then she had that high chance to crit on her supers. And I was like, okay, double super, triple super possible, all three of them crits, damage reduction, greatly stacking defense. Okay, maybe she is really good.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, she's still. Let's be real. She doesn't hit that hard. I mean, she hits pretty hard for
I've
what
gotten
she
10
is.
million consistently a few times.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just saying there are other damage dealers that
Oh,
obviously
yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
more and more consistently. But yeah, she
True.
in general she does a lot of damage all around, which is a lot more. And I'll be real with you, it's been a I don't actually remember. I don't remember if we've ever had a yellow coin LR be possibly in the top 5 of the game.
Where would you put her right now if you had to? Every unit in the game does not matter, yellow, green, blue, purple coins, whatever. Where do you rank her top 10 right now?
I mean, she's either number 2 or number 1. I mean, and it's only because of how reliable she is. Every time I put her on a team, I know Bulma's going to be fine. I know she's going to
Even
be
on,
fine.
yeah, 150s, she just tanks it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I say this, but I also remember the flashbacks are coming to me when they threw out the Cell first form red zone, and she actually took like 400, 500k freaking from him. But
In a super?
yeah, it was like turn 1 though.
That's still not bad, though. 400,000, most units take, what, 2 million?
Yeah, I mean, it still scared the crap out of me. It absolutely terrified me. I think I even made a short of it. But
Back on that sync now, my
yeah.
question, you made a point of you think it's going to be from the new year. Do you think they're going to do anything special, global exclusives then going forward with the sync from now till the sync, or from the sync and beyond? Do you think we'll ever get a global exclusive unit again, or global first, should I say?
No. No. I don't think we'll ever see another global first after the new year goes over. I don't think we're ever going to see that again.
When do we
Um
get the Goten and Trunks, or the Goten and Gohan EZA for the
we haven't
clothing
got it
reveal?
on global yet. We
That's what I mean. Where does he come
JP
from?
got it back on a random point with before Tanabata. It was right before Tanabata. Or was it during Tanabata?
That's what I was trying to think. I was like, hold on, we're missing him. Where's that?
He either way, he was a random EZA. He wasn't actually part of their celebrations.
Yeah.
But even when we get him, he's not going to be. He's going to have the same treatment that everyone's been giving the Goku Black EZAs. He's going to get the same treatment at this point. Um, unfortunately, I don't know why everyone's ignoring this. Yes, we are at a meta curve right now, so things are all over the place. People are going to argue and bicker back and forth. Oh, he's good. No, he's trash. No, he's trash. He can't do this. Blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Hmm. That's
It,
why I've just avoided conversations on that anymore.
yeah, it's not worth it. The truth is, yes, we have new hardest fights in the freaking game. But we still have also hard fights in the game that were the hardest fights that people still cannot do. And
Yeah,
now we're
with older
getting
units.
units that are going to be able to beat that content with relative ease. I mean, really with relative ease. Um so
So
regardless of how people feel about the current EZAs, the fact is these EZAs were made so that they can take care of content that's been out already, not the newest stuff.
with the sync, do you think the curve has peaked at its moment, or do you think there's still more drastic difficulty? I don't know why I said that's a weird difficulty to come before it peaks for a little bit.
I don't think this is the peak. We're gonna get another Heroes Red Zone more than likely.
Yep.
We're probably gonna get potentially something on difficult esque terms in January. with the New Year stuff. I feel like we'll
Yeah.
get something. And then, of course, we know for a fact we will get something out of the 9th anniversary. So,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
I don't think
I
we
meant the remainder of
peaked.
this year wise.
Oh, remainder of this year? Yeah, no. I mean, other than the Heroes Red Zone potentially being a little quirky, I imagine we're not going to get anything any more difficult than what we got right now. And if we do, it'll be the same. It'll be equal to. But that's just my assumption. I could be very wrong. I'm still under the slight assumption that these next 2 years are pretty much kind of a pinnacle point of Dokkan. Like either they're gonna make some very big changes, like the sync up,
Mhm.
or we're gonna be seeing the app go down and see a sequel to the game. I feel like 10th anniversary will be potentially one of the last, or it'll tell us how long the game's actually going to keep going.
Yeah, because that'll be the make or break point for it. Because like realistically, they make a lot of money. They have no reason to shut the game down.
No,
But I think you and I were talking the other day about the file size of the game.
the file size is ridiculous. They have to do something about it.
Yeah, and they can't. It's not like they can take out old assets because then they remove units from the game.
Yeah, no, exactly. They can't do that. Well, that's actually not 100% true. That's not 100% true. They could take out older units. They
They could
could.
take out Rs and N units. Definitely don't even need to be in the game anymore. To be honest,
I
Rs and some SRs need to go.
Well, yeah, the R's are worthless at this point. Literally worthless. They have zero purpose into the game, other than to literally flood the freaking summon pools. What I think they could do, and I don't want them to, but they could do it. They could literally remove at least 200 units because there is literally just a giant pocket full of units in the game that are almost worthless for the entirety of the game. I mean, they don't do anything. They don't have even significant EZAs anymore. I mean, I don't want them to go, but they could get rid of the original, like, big kind of, like, they could get rid of Super Gogeta STR. They could get rid of freaking the AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku. All of those units that have those quote-unquote bigger hidden potential stats. Those bigger hidden potential stats don't mean a dang thing. Those units are trash. They
Yeah,
cannot
they're
get through
worthless.
anything. They're literally worthless. And in all honesty, I don't even think half of them are in the pool because they were Dokkan Fest units at one point.
Yeah, they all are, and then you can get them with the red dragon stones, but they don't do anything. They're just collectors at this point.
Exactly. So I think there's a very large possibility that they could start removing stuff during the next year for the sync up and whatnot. I think they might try to like normalize a more controlled kind of environment, if that makes any sense. To make more room for newer units as well, because if they're
Yeah,
making Dokkan like custom made, quote unquote. I say custom made, but I mean all units are Dokkan custom made.
to an extent, yeah.
Yeah, and
What do you
after
think? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say after seeing Vegito Blue, they're not really custom. They take inspiration from all over the place. The Vegito Blue animations were straight up from a mixture of the intro to Super and a Vegito Dragon Ball Super attack animation. So I mean, it's not really custom. They're just taking it from different sources rather than straight up the anime or manga.
Yeah, just putting it together. What do you think the remainder of this year is going to look like then? From start to finish, from October 1st to December 31st. I
Let,
forgot how many days were in December.
like I said, I think it's gonna be normal. I don't think we're gonna get another announcement for a minute.
Well, no, I mean in like what order? Are we going to get, let's say, Turles next? Then that'll give us to
If we go by last year and how last year went,
mhm,
we'll get Turles in October. We'll get
the Halloween for the 2 weeks
well,
that that is.
yeah, we'll get the first 2 weeks of October will be Halloween banner, so we'll have God Goku back for coin usage. And then for the last 2 weeks of October will be Turles. And then the beginning of November will be Super Trunks. And then at the last half of November will be Heroes. That's pretty much a guaranteed almost at this point. if they decide to flip-flop Turles and Trunks, I mean, okay. It's not going to change anything. It's just going to be the same thing. I just figure they're not going to give us Super Trunks, an android future hybrid Saiyan unit like we've just been getting all in worldwide download right after the worldwide download. I just don't see that happening. I see them pushing him back just for the sake of not making it feel so dry.
Where are we gonna put Carnival Omega? Because we forgot about him.
December.
Oh, and Turles Goku, Spirit Bomb Goku.
Same thing. Turles will be part of. Actually, they could skip Turles. They might skip Turles now that I'm thinking about it.
I was thinking Turles has the part 1 and part 2
Well,
units, so that was a bigger celebration, wasn't it?
Turles is in the Tom Goku, as I call him, the Tree of Might Goku. He's in the same exact spot that Golden Frieza was. He could just get kicked back. He's a yellow coin LR. I'm sorry, but aside from Bulma, most yellow coin LRs are pretty garbage.
Right here. I'm looking it up right now, the campaign. Yeah, it started on May 30th and went all the way until June 30th. So it went for a whole month. So they could give us Turles for all of October. And then
they could also give us Turles at the beginning of October and still give us the Halloween October banner on the side. They could still do that. It doesn't mean that we're not going to get that.
When did Trunks come out again? What banner was he part of?
Oh, he came out just in August on JP.
Yeah, the Refreshing Summer campaign, I think,
yeah.
right?
The same thing happened the year prior with Pan being out in the same time frame, and then we got her at the same time frame.
Yeah, his whole banner was a month too as well, but they had that fancy Grand Slam, Grand Summer Dokkan Fest too. Actually, that might actually be what happens then, technically, now that I'm looking at it. They could give us Trunks right now, and then for the Halloween banner, instead of doing the Halloween Spectacular we had, they could do the Grand Summer Dokkan Fest they had, which was the one with the Year 5 LRs. The literally was just that loaded banner with the Year 5s, the Tech Gogeta, Path to Power Goku, the Boo, the Super Saiyan Goku, those two, the Super Saiyan 2, the Go Super Saiyan 3, the androids, Ginyu, and then in Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at the two celebrations, and both of them were a month long, and we really only have 2 months left that could do anything. And both of those 2 months have stuff already pretty much filled into them, especially one being Heroes. And that's being, I would say that's probably one of the more major banners specifically, even though it's not treated as such. A lot of people look at it as such because the units are just so good when they first come out.
When they first came out.
Yeah, because like the Turles was a whole month, Trunks was a whole month, and then the Tanabata was, I think.
Yeah, but Trunks was a very kind of dead month.
Yeah, he was.
So it is entirely possible we will get Trunks for October, now that you're putting that out there.
Yeah, because they could throw that, cheer up the super duper Grand Slam Kamehameha Festival thing they made up for the summer in that spot. I mean, that wouldn't be bad, really. It just wouldn't make sense to put, like you said, back to back. But I mean, they can do what they need to do, I guess.
I mean, they obviously did it for JP. Trunks came out right before worldwide download, so I mean, it wouldn't be too surprising if we got Trunks right after worldwide for global. If anything, it would make it poetic almost.
I just sent you their summer campaign because we do have to remember they had the Lady Collection Carnival banner, which is just normal banner.
That's just a random freaking. It wasn't even a carnival banner, was it?
Let me look.
I'm pretty sure it was just a yellow coin.
Blue coin.
Oh, was it blue? Okay, it's so it's even worse. I mean, it's just a random. What did we used to call it back? It was a rising carnival banner or rising dragon banner.
Dragon carnivals.
Yeah. It wasn't the same exact thing as a quote-unquote carnival banner, but it was basically just, hey, here's a higher rate banner with SSRs on it.
But yeah, they could definitely do Trunks then, like a lot of people are saying.
I mean, they have to jam-pack it. It's going to have to be jam-packed, which is why, I mean, people are really going to have to suck it up and skip. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but Super Trunks is a skip. Turles is a skip. They'll come back eventually. They'll be back on other banners. They will. And when that happens, you can enjoy it. Same thing
I
with
don't.
tournament the Tree of Might Goku. He'll come back on a carnival banner for next worldwide download, but he's not worth pulling for.
Goten and Trunks, by the way, the family Kamehameha were part of the Turles celebration for the EZA.
Oh, that's right, because it was a quote unquote movie thing. The
Yep.
movie
I don't
thing.
know if I'd say they're guaranteed skips. I just wouldn't go more than 150 into the banner. I wouldn't do if they give you discounts on global, do the discounts, that's it.
Okay,
Or tickets, do that, that's it.
but that's the thing you got to consider. Sometimes, I think I had a conversation with someone else about this. When you think about how if you should be skipping, you got to realize as a content creator, we have to tell people like they're free to play players. That's the basis
Mhm.
we got to look at. We should first focus on the free to play because I'm not trying to be rude to the viewers or the listeners, but probably the large majority of people that are listening or watching all of our content are pretty much free to play. They're kids, or they don't have a lot of money to pump into this game. They just like Dragon Ball and they just want to know, hey, is this worth it?
Oh yeah, no, I completely agree on that.
And when you have to look at it, it's either, hey, this is my favorite character. I want this. This is hype. Fine, do it. You're hyped. You're hyped, you know? Follow your own hype train. If you get the unit, I hope you do, then you
Like
get the
Celtic
unit.
Link for Trunks.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I love Trunks. Trunks is a very cool character. He's always been one of my favorite characters. He's always awesome. But, like, Sword of Hope Trunks, he wasn't worth summoning for. Time Travelers is a crap category. It is. I'm sorry. I love Dragon Ball Heroes. It's all Time Travelers. But it doesn't mean that free-to-play players or people with very limited amounts of money they can pump into this game should be summoning for him. He's not worth it. As far as a whale or a freaking dolphin goes, yeah, go for it.
Mhm. Like
But
I also look at it from the standpoint of we have to look at what's on the banner. Like Turles is, to be honest, the only value on his banner is probably himself. The EZA
yeah.
Turles, the Tech Bardock, I don't even know if I'd say he's that great. He's good, but not great. And then Yamcha's good. So that's 3 units that are good
Oh,
enough to summon
Yamcha,
for.
man, Yamcha.
STR Bojack is terrible in this meta. He's worthless at this point. The Dokkan
Yes.
one. And
Yes.
then switch it over to the Trunks banner, excuse me. The new Trunks is apparently from I haven't used him yet, so don't like crucify me here, Link. Apparently he's mid, the new Trunks. He's not that good. The
Mm,
Gohan is completely terrible from what I was told. The 17s, Hellfighter 17 and Hell Android 17 are apparently pretty decent. Majin Vegeta is still really good. The Super Vegeta is terrible at this point. The AGL Trunks I just showcased is pretty bad. And then the AGL Gohan, the one from the Garlic Jr., I think is kind of still okay.
so you're looking at the
Trunks
Trunks
banner.
banner? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that one has much value on it. Maybe
Okay.
3 units that are good.
So I actually went over this too when he was released. Trunks is very good, but he's got the same problem that even these brand new units from Worldwide have. You gotta get him to transform. He's gotta transform. He has to. If you're using Super Trunks, if you go for Super Trunks, you get him in the next month or two or whatever, and you're on global, and you think he's crap, it's because you didn't turn him into Super Trunks. Super Trunks
Yeah.
auto crits. He can triple quad super. He'll have plenty of decent defense. He's gonna do great. He's gonna be a fine unit. He's not gonna be broken or anything like that, but he's gonna be a very impressive unit. But he is only impressive after he transforms. This is a very big common issue with a lot of units. The AGL Goku and Vegeta that fuse into Vegito. He is garbage until he turns in to freaking Vegito. Once he turns into Vegito, he might as well be close to freaking top 3 in the game.
Yeah.
But the problem is you have to transform him. The Gohan? Yeah, no. Gohan's garbage. He's straight up trash. He's
Yep.
trashware. He's trashware.
And that's what you have to look at as the rest of the banner. I
Yeah.
don't know if I see that banner as worthwhile going
Yeah,
in on
no.
the Trunks for a new player or free to play on either one of them, to be honest.
I agree. And in fact, if unless you have a crap ton of red coins that are just kind of chilling there, as far as I'm concerned, when Super Trunks come around, yeah, go ahead, grab Super 17 just for the collection value. But even when you have that unit fully duped up, like rainbowed max to the level, he's still garbage until he freaking transforms into Super 17.
Now, what do you? I just sent you the Dokkan Grand Slam Festival banner, because this is kind of we're kind of on track with syncing a little bit, but we're also kind of not because we're talking about what could happen with the sync. So I mean, technically, we're on track. What do you feel about this banner that they sent? If they do this one for Halloween for us, since they wouldn't be able to do it as the summer one.
I mean, I didn't
It's
really
only
believe you until I started looking at this, but
it's a 100 stone summon. It's
it,
one time only. You're guaranteed
yeah.
one featured and one non-featured.
So my issue with this banner is the same. uh, This is what you were saying before. Sometimes there is too much on a banner.
Exactly.
And this is definitely a very good example of that. So the only way I would say this banner would be okay is if they were like, "Hey, all of these are here. Can we can we coin these?"
I think
Like,
you can.
if you can coin these, fan freaking tastic. I hope you have a crap ton of coins saved up and grab what you want because you ain't gonna get crap out of that banner. You, there is a very large possibility that you waste your 100 stones. I mean, not necessarily waste. Really depends on where you're at in the game, but that's another topic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got Gogeta Vegito, obviously, after Easy A. They're freaking crazy good. Not for the new content, but they're very good in general. But then, of course, you have freaking you got RF Blue Boys, and you got ancient old LR Tech Gogeta, which is just not good enough anymore.
Nope, he needs an easy A.
He's also a part of a category that needs drastic help. But the only thing good on this banner I'm seeing right now, I mean, you got Krillin. Actually, yeah, no. The banner units that are featured on there are better. They have more value. Pan,
Yeah.
an amazing freaking supportive unit. I don't even need to talk about how good the little bald man is, STR Krillin. He's so freaking good. Freaking Yajirobe.
The side guys are good too, decent.
The what?
The Turles side guys,
Oh
his
yeah,
two
no,
left
the
side
Turles
units.
side guys are almost more impressive than Turles himself. In all
Mm-hmm.
honesty, but you need to run Turles with them.
Ooh, one thing I just noticed. Bulma is on this banner. Does that make or break it for you?
As a featured?
No, she's a mixed in unit.
Well,
Is
yeah,
that worth that risk for the 100 stones to have a chance to pull her?
it's not any different. It's still not any different.
No.
It's really not. I mean, if the rates are higher, yeah, sure. But as far as I can see from what I'm seeing right here, it's a 5%. It's 5% non-featured. I mean, honestly, you actually have slightly a better chance to pull Bulma.
Mm-hmm.
So, I
95%
mean,
chance to get an unfeatured SSR.
yeah, but you got to remember the larger the pools get, the less
Yep.
likely you are to pull the unit you want. You might be going for Bulma, and if let's just say for argumentative sake you did pull on that, and they said, oh yeah, you're guaranteed to get an unfeatured LR character. That's great. You'll probably end up with freaking
STR Broly.
STR Broly, the first freaking or second freaking summonable LR in the bloody game that it literally has zero purpose to even exist now because freaking STR Piccolo and Junior are a thing.
Yeah.
It's just there's so many wasted units in here now that yeah, this banner's not really worth it. It is, but it's not. It's worth it for the fact that you can coin the units that you want. If you're a
Yep.
brand new player and you don't have half of these, then yeah, go ahead, pop the 100 stones. You'll get something. The odds are you'll get something. It's a gotcha game. You're rolling a roulette no matter what. Overall, though, I mean, if I was the truth, this whole banner's garbage. If I was Ningen, I'd say you got about like a good decent value. Myself personally, I'd say this is a very good banner with a lot of good options for the game. And if you haven't finished everything in the game, this will probably give you something to finish, like, say, a Extreme Super Battle Road that you couldn't beat. I mean, there's a lot of units in here that can help with that kind of stuff.
For me, this banner's useless to me. I have
Yeah,
every
no,
unit 100% except for Resurrection F Blues, Path to Power Goku. I have at 0. I don't even have him. Kid Buu, I have at 69%, but the rest of the features 100%ed. And these LRs, I have at least 69% of each one. I have no use for this banner. To me.
right. But this is kind of the banner that we could get for the sync up. A giant banner with all of these units on it.
So
If we're going to get a sync up.
Ooh, I just burped a little bit. So you're thinking then what I'm thinking and what everybody else is thinking now. The Trunks is what looks like it's coming because the Trunks came out 7/31,
Mm-hmm.
went for 2 weeks, and then we got the Grand Slam one, which would almost line up with Halloween. It'd be pretty close to the Halloween banner. They could call this their Halloween banner right into it, or they could give us the Trunks, the heroine. I probably shouldn't say heroine, but the Lady Collection
Jeez.
summon leading into Halloween, and then activate the Grand Summer Festival, which they can call the Halloween one, and then slide into Turles for November.
Yeah, they could do that. There's a whole bunch of things they could do. I'm not
Yeah,
sure what they're gonna go with, but
no, but that is with them doing their Halloween stuff they do every year. That looks to me like it's probably their best option that they're most likely going to activate. Because I see no reason for them not to give us the Grand Summer Dokkan Festival,
right. Yeah, no, right. You're right.
and that'd be the most ideal time, as they always give us something for Halloween. So here you go.
Yeah, I really don't know what they're gonna do though. At the moment, we just know that nothing's gonna happen until New Year's.
Yeah,
New Year's is when things are actually going to take place. What are you hoping they're gonna do? I guess.
I'd like to see Turles next because I actually have an interest in running him as an extreme unit because I feel like we got too many super units just recently.
Fair enough.
But I wouldn't be against the Trunks just to try for him, see if I get him, and then getting all this extra fodder out of the way, like this super banner, and then going into heroes and then transitioning into the Tanabata. Because really, I'm only aiming for the heroes and the Tanabata. Like I said, I'm going to do the discounts or whatever tickets are available for them, these other side banners, but I'm probably not going to go too super in depth. Neither one of them really is that interesting to me. Turles is good, don't get me wrong, but he's not. He's no Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Let's put it that way.
True. I mean, a lot of people are saying Super Saiyan 4 Goku isn't even worth it anymore, but that's just more hobbledegook again.
Yeah, that's just everybody saying what they got to say to make the newer units look hyper.
Yeah. Yeah, I really, I really don't know what they're gonna do for this sync up because they're just not being communicative enough.
No, not at all. And it'll all depend tonight at 10 o'clock tonight, my time, which is usually when. Well, no, we might not get it till 2 a.m. reset again. Well, at some point tonight, we'll know what the direction they're going with. If it's Trunks, don't be surprised if we get the Grand Summer Festival as the Halloween one. Pretty much, that's what I'm thinking.
Do you think we'll get an announcement tonight for Global for like the next banner?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we should get it announced of what we. How long do you think they're going to wait? We only have 2 days until the celebration ends.
I mean, that's true, I suppose.
That's only 48 hours for them to get something in the game, get hype rolling, because there's no way they're going to go 3 days without anything in the game.
This is true. This is all very true.
Because if they did that, then that means that they're losing out on money. I'm trying to load Dokkan up really quick just to show myself and make sure I'm actually reading these dates right. Because I think you and I said it was 10/4 your time, right? When it shuts down.
Yeah, it should be pretty much on Thursday. It should be Wednesday or Thursday.
Yep, goes to 10/4 is when it ends.
Yeah.
And the summon banners, the buy three get one freeze, are gone already. The banners are up until 10/5. The legendary summon carnivals.
Oh,
They're
wait,
all
the
up until
discounts are
10/5.
gone?
Yep, they're all gone. They're up until 10/5 at 0159 PDT, which would be fourth at your time at like 10 o'clock. Or no, you're 3 hours behind me, right? Or 2 hours.
I am
It's
2 hours
5:30 in the
behind you.
Okay, so that means it'll be midnight your time, or well, technically Wednesday into Thursday night is when they'll go away. Is what
Wow.
it's looking like. So that means they should have banners up before then, so when those transition out smoothly. So yeah, I see something in the next day or two. Within the next day, announcement, so the next 12 hours, and then the banners will officially be live probably the day after. Oh no, actually, they gotta have something because the stuff goes away at 10/4 at 1959 hours, which I think that's 2000 hours, which is what 10 o'clock.
Right.
So yeah, they have to get something by before Wednesday night. So tonight or tomorrow will be the best options.
Yeah, I mean they really do gotta move quick.
They got to build the hype quick with 2 days time.
Well,
Cutting it close.
yeah, cutting it a little close there. Um, so I mean, I guess the only thing left to really say is what is everyone else thinking what's gonna happen with the global JP sync? I mean,
Yeah.
are they gonna jam everything all into one banner in January, or is it actually not gonna be a sync up, and we're actually just gonna only be celebrating big celebrations, and everything else in between is still up in the air? I mean, I'm really curious what other people are thinking is gonna happen.
I'm gonna say it's on my final note on it is I'm gonna say they're gonna do kind of what you're saying. Keep it relatively normal till January. Sync all the major banners from here on out, but occasionally filter in some of the older units to try to balance out the banners. As in, like, we're gonna get the trunks, the Turles to finish this year out. Starting next year, everything's gonna be pretty much in sync, other than the side banners. Now that you made that point, I really don't see how there's no physical way for them to do it unless if they throw a major banner at the beginning of the year saying here.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's probably going to be a major banner celebration for sure. It's a major banner celebration, or it's just not going to be a full sync up like we all had assumed it was going to be. It's one of those two, in my opinion. So, is there any other last minute thoughts we wanted to get out on the podcast? I really don't think there's too much other than really getting into nitty gritty details. I don't think there's much else to really consider for the sync up or for the rest of the year, for that matter.
Yeah, no, the only other thing that I would have to say is tailing back to that Grand Summer Festival. It's dependent on how they handle that, which is going to be their Halloween one most likely, is what's going to tell us going forward. If they give us that Grand Summer Festival and it actually has either the Turles on it and whatever, then we'll know their plan. If they duplicate it from JP, the whole trunk celebration, then we know they're not syncing up anytime soon.
Yeah, and then we're gonna have to wait till probably end of December and into January until we
Mm-mm.
actually get any more actual like Omatsu and developer freaking notes or comments about the rest of the next year.
Yep.
All right, I think that's gonna be it then. I'm hoping that they'll just kind of throw us out the banner and we will be fully synced up. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But anyways, I think we're gonna call it at that point for the podcast today. Hopefully people enjoyed the worldwide download celebration and got whatever they needed, because we're not going to see those units again for quite a bit, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, we
Yeah,
will.
we'll see until next year. Next celebration, probably.
Well, if they sync up the games like they said they're going to, then actually they'll see a majority of these units on the 9th anniversary.
Valid point, but
Which isn't too bad. Which isn't too bad.
no.
But I think I'm gonna leave that out now. And where can people follow you, Water Buffalo?
Oh, they got my TikTok, my X, Twitter, or here on YouTube, just like they follow Joe San.
Awesome. And you can, of course, follow me over on everything Josayan, or Josayan13 should pop up for Twitter, TikTok, or YouTube. And freaking, I have too many things I go through. I stream on everything. I freaking upload on everything. But appreciate everybody for listening to the podcast. Thank you, Water Buffalo Man, for joining me for this podcast. Hope to have you in the future as well.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
All right, everybody. Hope you have a good day and a good night, and please do let us know what you think. How do you think the sync is going to happen? I really want to know. Anyways, guys, have a good day and a good night.